I'm Dr. Vitetti, a psychologist. Over 20 years ago, I founded the European Institute for Stuttering and Communication. I handle stuttering nationally and globally for years. For over 12 years, I've been bringing a preventive therapy for stuttering to the market, working with children aged 2 to 5, focusing on the parental matrix and the dynamics within the family context. We often discuss for stuttering in different contexts. We talk about for stuttering, but few, or very few, truly explain what this problem is. Me, being a former stutterer, by working on myself first and foremost, I've come up with a strategy, but this strategy relies on an emotional interpretation of the problem. In my opinion, stuttering is an emotional issue that becomes relational when it becomes chronic and therefore becomes a problem in the way one expresses themselves in public. To make people understand the dynamics of the problem, I made sure to explain and write about the dynamics of this problem because I immediately thought that the whole shebang should not only be explained, but also analyzed in all its phases. That's why, as early as 2001, I published my first book, which is this one, Analysis and Perspectives of Stuttering, published by Post Press in Verona. Then I thought about expanding certain concepts, because when working in this field you always acquire new information, and that's why in 2006 I published this other book. Stuttering is a problem in relationships, as it's a language issue, but it impacts the relational aspect of individuals who experience stuttering. But the best job, in my opinion, is the one that completes the second book by Armando Editor. Afterwards, I became a publisher, having a wide-ranging business. I also thought it would be a good idea to publish a third book that would complement the first two, and this third volume, right here, for Stuttering Integrated Approach, takes inspiration from the definition I give of the problem and the methodological approach to the problem. So, the Stuttering Integrated Approach is the book that sums up all my work as a popularizer, as an interpreter of the problem, and also as a therapist. The third book, The Stuttering Integrated Approach, was translated into 3 languages. This book is For Stuttering An Integrated Approach, which is the English translation of the book La Stuttering Integrated Approach, and there is also the German and Spanish version already published, because it is a translation already underway and ready to be exported to German-speaking and Spanish-speaking countries. The fourth book that I do not have with me here, but is the latest work in question, is the book titled as a book that clearly addresses the central theme of the problem, which is not only about stuttering, but about a typical mechanism of those who stumble over their words, but also of other individuals who have other issues, but who have one thing in common, which is the control of their own emotions and feelings, regardless of the challenges they face in expressing themselves verbally. I mean, the stutterer controls his language, because through language he controls emotions filled with anger. This fourth book, in actuality, is the culmination of a series of studies, of interpretations that unequivocally demonstrate that Dr. Vitetti, yours truly, is an esteemed and dedicated researcher who has devoted significant time and effort to this particular field of study. I reckon it's right to underline this fact. Stuttering in particular can't be seen as just a symptomatic phenomenon and therefore treated with simple re-educational techniques. In my opinion, stuttering deserves a much more comprehensive exploration than what is currently being done on this issue, because the prevalence of speech therapy techniques, of re-educational techniques, only marginally scratch the surface of the problem that needs to be addressed in a more thorough and in-depth manner. Instead, in my opinion, I believe, think, and am convinced that we need to explain on a wide scale that stuttering is a more complex problem than one might think, that it has deeper roots than believed, and that it deserves a more significant approach, the deeper approach, and I firmly believe that this is the strategy that should be adopted to address it.